Back again on the Sports Zone. I am Mike Aglialoro. Said about a month ago, never too early for fantasy football. With that in mind, it's been a couple weeks since the NFL draft, so we're going to look at some of the players to remember when you're sitting at your fantasy draft tables for this coming season. And we're going to start with the running backs. Now, with the NFL being so pass-oriented over the last few seasons, it's still crazy to believe that the running backs are probably the most valued position in the league, if for no other reason than because the passing aspect has become so ingrained in the NFL game in the grand scheme of things that there are so few quality runners worth having on your team that's the reason why they always seem so scarce as the season progresses. So with that, when you start at your draft tables, these are some of the names from the draft to keep in mind. The first running back off the board was taken by Tennessee with the 54th overall pick in Bishop Sankey out of the University of Washington. Now, Sankey may not be a great running back, wasn't even the top running back ranked in the draft. Jake Dixon had him ranked as our fourth running back in the Sports Zone preview. And even guys like Mel Kiper had Carlos Hyde ranked much higher than him. But Bishop Sankey is going to be the number one running back taken because he has such an opportunity. Chris Johnson was cut, and the only competition for carries are going to be Sean Green and Jackie Bradley. Now, while these two are veteran runners in Battle's case, he's always wound up being one of those runners that never really seems to go away. The team always finds a way to keep him in the fold, keep him in the mix, because he always winds up being a good team player. So with that, Sankey has the field wide open to truly become the bell cow runner on this team. Whether or not he's able to do that, who knows, but opportunity is 9/10 of the law, basically, in fantasy football. So he's going to be the one with the opportunity. He's the guy you take, and because he's really the only running back in the draft to come into a situation where he could be the clear-cut number one running back, first rookie running back off the board in every draft this year. Next, we're going to go to a guy who was a mid-round pick by the Atlanta Falcons. It's out of Florida State University, Devonta Freeman. Now, Steven Jackson was signed last season, and he definitely was looking his age with a career worst yards per carry. And the only other alternative is Jaquez Rodgers, who's a good running back, but has never really been thought of as the true bell cow solution for the Falcons due to his size. As a result, Devonta Freeman could wind up getting strong consideration by the Falcons to become their workhorse running back. The only thing I would caution with Freeman is he's not exactly oversized for the position either. He comes in at under 6 foot, which has been the reason why Rodgers hasn't been given a heavy workload. But I still worry about the fact that he's not a 6'1", 6'2" runner. However, if I'm taking one Atlanta Falcon running back, especially if I'm in a dynasty league, and I even like him in a one-year league, go with Devonta Freeman. Next running back we're going to look at is Jeremy Hill out of LSU. He went to the Cincinnati Bengals in the second round once the run on the back started. And while he is coming into a situation where he's going to be the third back on the draft chart, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis is more of a volume runner who he does have more explosiveness than. And if they really had confidence in Giovanni Bernard as their workhorse running back, they wouldn't have brought in Hill. They want to be complementary as a system. I look for Jeremy Hill to have an impact possibly later in the season, so you remember the name if you're in a dynasty league. But because running back is so scarce, he's worth remembering in a one-year league. Fourth running back we're going to look at is going to be Tre Mason out of Auburn. He went to the St. Louis Rams. Zach Stacy was a true bell cow running back when he took over the position for the Rams very early in the season. But it's pretty obvious that everything behind Stacy was a mess last year, and the Rams are just looking to correct that. With that being said, though, if you're a Zach Stacy owner in a dynasty league, which I am, you're going to wind up taking Tre Mason very early because the guy was thought of by some, including Jake Dixon, to be the best running back in the draft. And whenever someone like that goes to a situation where Zach Stacy has a good season, but I wouldn't exactly call him firmly ensconced as the number one running back. Name to remember if you own Zach Stacy. And the guy who's been talked up a lot, especially by ESPN, because Mel Kiper lives so close to Townsend University and got to see them play, is Terrence West, who went late in the third round to the Cleveland Browns. I'm a Ben Tate guy. I like Ben Tate going to the Cleveland Browns, and I really thought he had a chance to establish himself as the #1 running back. But even I can admit he's been very injury-prone over the course of his career, and a guy like Terrence West could be much more explosive than what Tate would bring to the position. So he's a name to remember if you're going to take Ben Tate or if you're looking for a flyer in the late rounds of your draft. The other names to keep an eye on are Andre Williams, drafted by the New York Giants, simply because I don't buy Rashad Jennings as an every-down running back. And the name to keep an eye on in dynasty leagues is Carlos Hyde, considered by ESPN to be the best running back in this draft. Frank Gore is not going anywhere, but he will someday, and he always winds up getting banged up during the course of the season. As much as I don't think Hyde is going to have an impact this season, in my eyes, he's the future for the 49ers at the running back position. So you keep an eye on him. So that's going to do it for us this time. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, send us any questions and comments you may have. Check out everything else we got. We got Tom Lembo's conference semifinals for the NBA between the Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder on the western side and the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers on the eastern side. We have more from Jake Dixon and Jay Rovsky, who did his post-mortem on the Brooklyn Nets 2013-2014 season. And we got more from guys like George Murphy, Aaron Hadasme, and Dave Tice. Thanks for watching, everybody. For This is SportsZone, I am Mike Aglialoro. We will see you next time, folks.